video that is talking about, the rigged game that you guys are playing. Most of you guys, 99% of you guys that watch my content, you're playing this rigged game, and you guys are about to find out the reality. That the reality, is harsh out here. And if you continue to play this rigged game in 2026, because 2025 is almost over, you're gonna get wiped out. You're gonna be poor. And I don't want you to be poor. If you're watching my content, it means there's something that is nagging you to do something. Okay? Let's watch this video.
Stop working hard in your 9 to 5. It gets you nowhere. Working hard in a job, those days are gone. Done and dusted. Now, many of you will disagree, and a few of you will get what I'm saying. Let me talk about my old job, and let me share some real life case studies and why you should not be working hard, because you will be used and abused, believe me.
How many of you are being used and abused right now? I've spoken to some of you. You're being used and abused and you're accepting it. You keep taking it. Why? Why do you keep accepting shitty conditions for crappy hourly rate? When you know you're good at what you do. When you know you're the best in where you're working. When you know you could be working with those millionaire clients that I keep balking about. Why do you keep doing this to yourself? You know it. There are a bunch of nurses right now that are quitting their job. They're exhausted and they're complaining. Listen, the idea that you're going to continue to do the same thing over and over, playing a rigged game, hustling backwards in 2026, is about to get you into big trouble in 2026. Big trouble. Inflation, cost of living, this is not slowing down, guys. And working harder, more hours, being given more patience is not going to help your situation. It's not. Let's keep going.
Now, I'll just use their first names, but there's two people that come to mind. I used to work with a guy called Steve. He was the yes man. He used to do everything. If there was a problem, we get Steve to do it. If there was a shift that needed covering, we get Steve to do it.
Yeah, many of you are Steve. Or, what's the female version of Steve? Many of you are like Steve or the female version of Steve. You know what I'm saying? You're a nice person, you're genuine, you're kind, but people keep stepping on you. I know, because I was there. That used to be me.
You need a man to come in early, Steve would do it. Stay late, got you covered. Used and abused. And what we see, and it's very common, if you are the person that is willing to do everything and anything for no extra pay, because your belief system is the harder you work, the more you'll earn, and the further you'll go in the company. No, dog's body. They see it as someone that they can take advantage of.
Some of you have been taken advantage of, Some of you are probably bitter. Don't be bitter. Don't be bitter, guys. Just understand that rules have changed. The game has changed. There are new rules that you can, start playing this game by in 2026. Because the 2025 economy has shown us that we're in a completely different era. We're in a completely different, timeline. You cannot be doing things like you were doing last year, 2024. You can't. We had a different government last year. SNAP benefits. You guys saw what happened when the government got shut down. Everything got exposed. Everything. There's so many people that are sleeping in their cars. There's so many people that were depending on food stamps. And you're waking up to this reality that, wait a minute, I'm working full time and I can't even get an apartment. What kind of nonsense is this? You think working harder is going to save you? No, it's not. It's about working smarter so you can beat the game.
While everyone else is chilling out, putting their feet up, working smart. I was always working smart. My gosh, I never worked hard in my last job because I was too clued up. I would work in the pockets as and when I needed to. But no, your man Steve, he would be the one to be used and abused. There was also a lady called Anna. While we were all leaving to go home, if you you needed extra reports doing for free, if you needed someone to stay on and do the shift handover for free, no extra pay, Anna's your woman.
And many of you are Anna. That's the female version of Steve. Many of you are Anna. I've spoken to a lot of you guys. You're good people. You know, many of you are immigrants. I know it. I know you're immigrants because, you know, you tell me. You tell me you're from Africa. Every time I tell you, you know, I'm enjoying Africa, you'll be like, oh my God, I want to enjoy Africa too. So I know many of you are immigrants. Some of you are not immigrants, but it doesn't mean that we're not in the same struggle. You're not in the same struggle as everybody else. The struggle is real. Anna, I'm telling you right now, if you're watching this, Anna, it's time to stop playing a rigged game. It's time, okay? You understand the game has completely changed. If you continue on this path, you know, getting used and abused, you're going to be part of the problem. The Annas and the Steves are actually part of the problem. That mess it up for everybody else.
She would have done it. And you'll probably have a Steve or an Anna at your place. It's not a good look. It's not a good thing. You have to understand that the people that climb the corporate ladder and go the furthest are the ones that do the least. That's the reality. They barely do anything.
Do you think the person that owns your home care agency, the one that you work for right now, do you think that person works as hard as you? No, they don't. The owner of the nursing facility that you work at, do you think they work as hard as you? No, they don't. All they know how to do is manage people, put the right systems in place, and then probably chilling in Bali or in that fancy neighborhood, you know, over there that I just showed in my previous video, the rich neighborhood. They know how to put in the right systems in place. And then you do all the manual heavy lifting. Why not be that person that puts in the right systems and then everybody else does the labor? Of course, you treat people better so you can win out here. Why not be that person, the business owner, and do it the right way? Let me play it a little more, then I'll tell you.
Dues. That's how people survive in the corporate world. And you'll typically find as well, the people who are getting slightly older, they're the ones that are the dog's bodies even more. Because they're aware they might become irrelevant. That they can't go on to get another job because they're late 40s, early 50s, whatever it might be, and they're thinking, oh my God, I'm never going to get a job again. And
See, that's the problem, right? A lot of you that I've spoken to, you're not a lot. I would say 50% of people that I've spoken to are older than me, and I'm 43. I've spoken to people in their late 40s, you know, early 50s, mid 50s there. And I know it's scary because you're probably terrified that maybe you're not employable anymore. But if that's the case, then just go your own way. Start your own thing. But it requires you to be able to be willing, rather, to make the necessary sacrifices to get you to the next level. The advantage that you have if you're in your 40s, in your 50s, is you have enough life experience to fall back on over a 20-year-old, over a 20-something-year-old, or over a 30-something-year-old. Most 20-year-olds, 20-something-year-olds, or 30-something-year-olds, they're still trying to figure out this whole life thing. They're still trying to figure out themselves. They're still trying to figure out, you know, the human relationships. All these other things that you've already figured it out. You already figured out most people are full of crap, so you keep a distance. But somebody in their 20s hasn't figured that out. If you get into business, you know, yourself and start running this home care agency, you focus, you will be way more advanced than somebody who's 20 years younger than you. This is if you're in your 50s. Yeah, you might not have the energy that a 20-year-old, 25-year-old might have, Or you might not have the energy that a 35-year-old might have. But guess what? You're going to have the wisdom to know what not to do and what to do. And this is what holds a lot of you back. You know, especially the ones that are in their 40s or older than me, in their 50s. You know, I can tell you sound defeated, guys. You just sound defeated. There are ways you can beat the game. If you are competing with somebody that is 20 years younger than you, the only thing that that person who's younger than you has overuse energy. But you have wisdom, knowledge, experience. So if you were to go up against that same person, you can get to the goal within 3 years, max. Something that could take you, let's say 18 months, that's a year and a half. It could take this person who's younger than you 5 years to figure it out, or 3 years to figure it out. So double or 3 times the time. That's the benefit if you're older. You already know what works. You already know what niches make sense for you. You already know what kind of clients you like to work with. You know what kind of clients you don't like to work with. But somebody who's younger doesn't have that perspective, you see.
Again, they're willing to do whatever is necessary in order to survive.
That's the problem. The older you get, the more you feel like you have to do whatever is necessary to survive. And that is a trap. The system is designed that way to trap you. You have to realize that there's a way to beat the game. And beating the game means that you have to think completely differently. You can't be using the same mindset that you used in 2024, 2023, and so on, of previous years. That's why you're still stuck. I've spoken to well over 400 people on this channel. Well over 400. And many of you are still stuck, but you don't want to admit it because you're stubborn. Before you know it, you're waking up at 50 years old, you're in panic mode. You can't retire to Africa like you've always wanted to. You can't retire to Mexico, or you can't retire to South America like you've always wanted to. Because you're constantly taking on shifts that you shouldn't be taking on. Doing whatever is necessary to survive. When there's an easier way to navigate this thing. I'm not saying that, you know, the alternative is going to be easy. And it's not going to be painful. It will be painful. Anything good is going to come with a little bit of pain. If you want to look good, you got to hit the gym. You know what I'm saying? You got to run those. You got to put those steps in. If you want to look good, if you want to get a six-pack, you got to go to the gym. You want to look good, you got to do whatever it takes. Diet, you got to focus on what you're eating, what you're consuming. All the stuff. It's going to be pain. You want to have a beautiful baby, you got to go through childbirth. You got to get pregnant, which is not fun, you know. For some of you mothers that are out there, much respect. If you got kids and you're a mother, much respect to you. Because I know from observing my wife, you know, it's not easy being pregnant. It's not easy, pushing out a baby. That comes with a lot of pain. But that pain comes with beauty, like something beautiful comes out of it. You get a beautiful baby, a beautiful child, that turns into a grown-up one day.
And that's the problem. When you're in survival mode, you're willing to work extra, be the yes man or yes woman, get used and abused, and it serves no one. Managers will think, well, we were told that we need to hire someone extra, but what's the point? We've got Steve and Anna that's going to do all the work.
You don't want to be the Steve and Anna, guys. This whole thing of, operating on survival mode, you can avoid that. There are ways you can avoid that. You don't always have to live like this, survival mode. Yes, I understand the economy is crap. I understand the cost of living is crap. But there are ways that people are surviving in this economy. The trick to surviving this new economy, guys, is to have leverage. If you don't have leverage, it means you don't have options. If you don't have options, you're going to be somebody else's doormat. You're going to be used and abused. If you're ready to turn things around today, not waiting until January 1st, because it's not going to happen. Today, if you're ready to turn things around, you know you got to get to the next level. You know you got to branch out on your own. You know you got to start that home care business. Some of you are already holding a license that is about to expire and you have to renew it. But you didn't make any money in 2025. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired of not making money, schedule time. I'll teach you how to get to the next level. How to make sure 2026, which is coming up in a few weeks, hell, in a few days. A few days is less than 60 days. You want to ensure that you're going to find success in 2026. Schedule time. I'll be a coach. I'll coach you along the way to make sure you don't give up on this thing. Because giving up is not an option, guys. It's not an option. All right? Schedule time. Talk to you soon.